Hey guys, I'm Brian. She's Brenda on YouTube at New Life Recovery. Good morning, Brenda.
Morning, Brian. It's a great day in the neighborhood.
For sure. So I was thinking about have you heard of the term a dry drunk?
I have just heard of that term on social media because apparently this is dry January, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll change anything. That just means that you're not drinking for 30 days. So
Right, right,
I'm
right.
a little confused.
And that's basically it. A dry drunk is someone who they're not drinking, but they haven't worked through any of their issues that led them to or kept them in their addiction. So when I think of a dry drunk, I think of the nasty old man who's cranky and mad at life. And, you're not drinking, but you still haven't worked through any of your problems. And so as I was thinking about that, how it relates to my life, um, I don't want to just, try really hard not to use and that be my existence, right? I want to thrive in life, you know? I want to get beyond just trying hard not to go gambling or trying hard not to look at pornography or trying hard not to use drugs. You know what I mean? I want to have meaning in life. Um, and I think that's important for us. We can go through life and just feel like we're in such a rut. I do the same thing. I get up, I go to work, I come home, wash, rinse, and repeat. And I
Yep.
don't have any meaning. I don't have any fulfillment. I don't have any purpose. And so that's what I'd like us to consider today. Where do you find meaning? Where do you find purpose? Where do you find fulfillment so that I'm not just trying hard not to be a bad person or do destructive things?
And that's very difficult. That's very hard. I was listening to something the other day, and they said that the Kardashians have redefined the American dream, and I threw up a little bit in my mouth because their life is not my American dream. If I'm going to look for purpose, looking at the Kardashians, that will drive me to drink. Okay. Like,
Mm,
no, I think trying to find your purpose, Brian, is different than my purpose. And what is going to make, i.e., the Kardashians happy, obviously is not going to make me happy, or I wouldn't have thrown up a little bit in my mouth. I think we need to adjust our expectations. I think that we are judging. I mean, look at all the media. There's more media now than ever in history. There's more opinions now ever in history. We're basing our purpose and giving our power away to other people's opinions. It's so hard to find your purpose when you can't quiet the whole world down and listen to your own mind.
yeah.
What makes you happy may make you happy, Brian. It may not make you happy, Brian. But I don't need you to tell me my purpose is to make you happy. Like, it's
That's
so
interesting. So I think I'm hearing you say in part, I need to genuinely figure out what my genuine definition of happiness.
and if and that is going to be your purpose, not not going out and partying all the time. There's a time for that, a birthday, New Year's Eve. But going back to that dry drunk full circle, we have to work on ourselves. We should concentrate on what we're good at, but we shouldn't ignore what we're bad at, and we should work on what we're bad at, but we shouldn't obsess with it. And I think that's where I myself, I just get obsessed with, I don't do this well. So I've got to practice, practice, practice. But then the stuff that I do well just comes so naturally that if I would focus at least 50% on that too, that would help me find my purpose. My purpose when I was 20 is not my purpose now that I'm at the age that I am. But at 20, I was trying to figure it out. So we're all trying to figure it out. But you have to work on yourself and you have to know yourself. And that's a lifetime journey, I think.
Yeah, know yourself. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. We talk in recovery a lot about finding ourselves, especially many of our clients will have started drugs and alcohol at 12 years old, and now here they are in their 30s or 40s or even 50s, and now I'm really trying to stay sober and realizing I don't know myself. There's a whole nother video that I'm going to do on um, trauma and living in this trauma response that just reminded me of. But I know this is probably news to you, but in 2018, I wrote a book, Freedom Recovery,
Well,
Wholeness,
copy signed.
Wholeness, Hope, and Healing. Uh, it's
Awesome.
it's funny you said that. I met a guy in prison and I hadn't seen him in years, and then I went back and I saw him in another prison, and he was almost out. And he was like, "Brian, could you give me a signed copy of your book?" So I went home, grabbed a book, and signed it for him, and that was kind of cool. The only
Oh,
time I've ever been asked for an autograph, believe me.
yes, I'm gonna have your book right here. I'd like a signed copy, please.
Yeah, so I talked
The
about
bio on this where people can order it.
I'll tell you what, for right now, anyone in the month of January or February 24, if you email me at the email that we'll have on the screen, bfontaine74@gmail.com, I'll send you a free electronic version. I'll send you a free PDF if you just put in the subject line free book. Um,
Ooh, cool.
but it is a self-guided recovery book, and in it I talk about, finding your purpose, and I talk about um, spiritual life, social roles, growing, giving, and going. And like, that's going to give me purpose beyond just my everyday life. So spiritual life is obvious, growing in your relationship with God. Um, but social roles, and by the way, spiritual life, I'm not trying to whitewash that. That's huge. That's so powerful for so many people. So that can be a powerful way for you to find purpose. But also our social
Yeah.
roles. You're a daughter. You might be an aunt. You're a coworker. Um, I'm a dad. I'm a husband. Um, yeah, I'm an employee. I'm a member of my community. But we really can find purpose in our social roles, but also growing. I don't want to stay where I am. I want to continue to learn and grow at piano and at guitar and my hobbies. I've told you before, I think on the very first episode that we did here, I'm a fan of reading books about Mount Everest. So
Yeah.
that's an area I can grow in, learning about our hobbies, but that also gives us, and you and I were just talking about furthering our education, before we started. That's an area to grow. Like, that gives us purpose because I'm growing beyond who I am now. But then giving and going, like what you and I are doing right here, Brenda. And guys, I'll take this moment to say thank you for watching. I know that we have a very small channel, but we do have a small impact, and that's okay. Like, we're here to give, we're here to give back and hopefully help people in their growth. And if there's any way we can do that, whether it's through our work or volunteering at church or a thousand other ways, that can give some sense of purpose. What were you going to say, Brenda?
Especially around Christmas, there were a lot of memes on social media saying, if you feel alone right now, you're not alone. We're here for you. I'm here for you. And that's kind of what I see our little, and it's not little. If people are on the internet and they feel so alone, hey, come here. You're not alone. We're here. Why are
Yeah.
we here? Because through something, you and I, out of the thousands of people connected, Brian, just to do this. So you're not alone. And my
Yeah.
gosh, it does feel sometimes. Of course it does.
I'm
Because
glad you
life
said
is
that.
you know, if you think that you're alone, then get out of your head and find somebody, because there are people that love you, and there are people like just Brenda and Brian that are here because we want you to be here this afternoon. We want to meet you next week someplace randomly, because you are the only you that you can be. So with this dry drunk January, it's a perfect time to look inside. And when you're have anxiety about wanting that drink or wanting that, then that's the time when you sit down and you breathe for just 10 seconds. I know it sounds silly, but cravings only last for so long, right? And you go, okay, who am I without this? Who am I without this? Because we all started just with a party and to be like everyone else. And then that's all you are, is that bottle of tequila or that bottle of whatever. So I think if we could take dry January to the next level individually and work on ourselves. In 30 days, every time you concentrate on not doing whatever it is you're not supposed to be doing, concentrate on something else. Pick up that book you've had for 10 years that's got dust. Maybe it's not a book, but you know what I'm saying. You have an opportunity. It's kind of like fasting. When you're fasting, either you do something in the time that you should eat or you're just starving yourself. Like there's something else you can fill that time with in January to help that.
Boy, you said it so well. I think that's a great place to land for today's video. That idea that who I think you said that so well. Who am I without it? Who am I without my drugs? Who am I without alcohol? Who am I if I don't go gambling? That's really good because that goes into exactly what I was saying, finding a purpose, who am I as a husband, a dad? Who am I in my spiritual life? Who am I giving back and going and sharing my story and blessing others? That was really good. Guys, I say at the end of every video, we love you, and we really do. We're normal people with normal problems, and God knows we don't have it figured out, but I love you. God bless you, and until next time, be well.